everyone, come back to Blue Devils TV. This is the Manchester City versus Manchester United Derby Day preview. And I have a special guest here with me. This is Roshan. He's making his debut, you could say, on this channel. Thanks for thanks for coming on. And so first of all, just give us your quick thoughts on the game.
Obviously, this is a very important game. It's a derby, so I'm expecting big things from the game. Plus, I've heard Martial is fit, so yeah,
Yes, yeah, and of course also Marcus Rashford's fit as well, and of course he just recently won Premier League Player of the Month, so that's nice. And also, of course, Pep Guardiola versus Eric Ten Hag. It's going to be an interesting battle because Ten Hag has like his management style is influenced by Pep because of his time at Bayern Munich with the Bayern Munich reserve team, and um, and I'm pretty sure they faced each other before in management. So it's going to be interesting just to see what happens. Of course, I think the main threat for this game is going to be Erling Haaland. So, and of course, there are other players from Man City who can be a threat. So, which players do you think can be a real threat from Man City's side?
Cancelo definitely. Cause you know what? I've been watching a few City games recently, and he's not a left back. He basically comes and plays in the left wing area most of the
Yeah.
times. So he's definitely a threat, and our defense will have to pocket him, so to say.
Yeah, like and the thing with Cancelo is that he's one of those very few left backs that like he's probably better offensively than defensively, which is a bit surprising because he is a defender. But that's just how it is. And yeah, of course De Bruyne as well. He's always a nightmare for us to face. So yeah, it's gonna
Yeah,
be tough.
exactly.
Yeah. Um, and but I mean, I think a lot of people are writing United off in this game, and of course I get that because you're the underdogs. Man City are the champions, and Erling Haaland's looking in unstoppable form at the moment. But we have produced surprising results against City before. I remember, I think it was in the season we got second under Oli. We went to the Etihad and we got a 2-0 result against them, and we ended their unbeaten run. So I mean, anything's possible in football, and it's a derby, of course. So I think anything's possible. Um, so yeah, and I think in terms of injuries, I think Rashford and Martial are back. I'm not sure if either of them are fit enough to start, but we'll have to see about that. And of course, I think they're the
Martial
main.
might start as far as I've heard, but Rashford is a tout for the game.
Yeah, and Rashford has a pretty good record against Manchester City as well. So hopefully he can keep that up today. Um, of course, and of course, that's. I just want to talk about the last time we faced City. I just think it's going to be interesting to compare both of the games because last time we faced City was at the Etihad and they smashed us 4-1, and that was under Olaf Ragnik's side, in which half the team couldn't give a shit about the football club. And I remember even Rashford and Lingard came on, and they were basically jogging around. They weren't even putting enough effort in. So that was a pretty bad game, and of course, I think today. I don't think we'll see a similar result like that. Hopefully, we'll see a much more positive results. I think it'll be interesting to compare both the games afterwards. So yeah, and of course, I think it's going to be like for players like Lisandro Martinez and Eriksen, it's going to be the first time playing against Manchester City. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Honestly,
And
as well, if he starts, I mean,
yeah, and so I thought right before we do the 11 for United, like the 11 that we picked for this game, I thought that it would be fun to do a bit of a combined 11 first before the game. So I think it's going to be brutal, but I think that's a start. So in goal, I think it's going to be Edison, right? In goal,
yeah, of course.
yeah. But centre back, I would say Diaz and Varane. Do you agree with that?
I mean, Martinez is a shout instead of Varane, but sure, I'll go with Varane.
Like I would say, like Martinez is really good, but I would say Varane's like the better footballer.
Yeah, plus he's proven himself a lot more as well.
Yeah. I think fullbacks. I would actually say Dalot for right back and left back Cancelo.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with this one. Yeah,
Yeah, and Dalot is in fantastic form at the moment. Like I would say, out of all of
he's
our players, I
probably
would
the
say.
best right back in the world right now.
I mean, yeah, maybe because like Trent's been off form lately. On form, yeah, you could say that, and it's. I would say like out of all of our players, I think Delor's probably been the most improved player under Ten Hag, along with McTominay, and he even
Yeah,
scored 2 goals for Portugal recently. So yeah, he's turning into, he's turning into our Trent at the moment. So yeah, it's nice to see. In midfield, I would say,
De
I would
Bruyne.
say, yeah, De Bruyne obviously, and I would say Rodri and Eriksen. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. Rodri, maybe not. Like the last few games, he's been a bit disappointing, I'd say.
Who, Eriksen?
Bruno might be a no. I mean Rodri.
Oh, Rodri.
Yeah,
Maybe, but I would still go for Rodri, and like we need a CDM as well in the team, so I think Rodri has to
yeah.
be it. And then front three probably off the left, I guess Foden at striker, Haaland, and I would say Sancho off the right because he's been good recently.
Honestly, I'd go with Rashford instead of Foden because Foden has been really disappointing for England lately.
I mean, yeah, I could say that. But I think, we forgot about Bernardo Silva. I would say I think he should get on the team instead of Sancho. So I guess Rashford, Haaland, and Silva.
Yeah, I agree with this one.
Yeah, so I mean, 4 United players overall in the team: Varane, Dalot, Eriksen, and Rashford. So I mean, we're not that far off City. I think it's like people are talking like City are in another league than us, but I think we're not far off from them. Like obviously they're a better team than us, but it's not we're not miles apart.
Yeah,
So
I'd say City are a bit too dependent on Haaland right now. If Haaland does not perform, no one else, takes the step and
yeah,
performs
yeah,
that
it's
much.
interesting because my last season, everyone talked about how City needed a new striker, and I think that was pretty evident because they had Jesus. Jesus is a good player, but I don't think he was quite on the level of his teammates because like most of Manchester City's team are in contention for like the best players in the world in each of their positions, but I don't think anyone's going to really put Jesus in the conversation for best striker in the world. So I think the difference between Jesus and Haaland has been huge for City.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I'd say that Jesus did not exactly fit the gameplay of City perfectly as much as Haaland does right now. Haaland is a
Yeah,
perfect, classic number nine-esque player, but
and like the thing with Jesus is that right now he's at Arsenal and he's doing really well there. And I think it's like because the transformation from the Man City team to the Arsenal team, as soon as he went into the Arsenal team, he was automatically one of the first names on the team sheet, and he's now probably their best player. So I think that's probably something that's helping him a lot because now the team is more dependent on him.
yeah, absolutely. Also, I'd say that if Haaland were not playing in the PL right now, Jesus would be the best number nine in the Premier League.
Yeah, yeah, probably, yeah. And I think it's gonna be just like Haaland, like it's like everyone's been talking about him breaking goal records. And I think this season, I honestly think he could probably maybe break Mo Salah's 32 season goal record because right now he's only right now has 11 goals. He's one third of the way there, and we aren't even at Christmas. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that turns out. And I think if he doesn't get injured, then he probably will end up winning the Golden Boot, and he might even break the goal record.
Yeah, I feel
So.
the same way.
Yes, like that's the variability language. Right, and yeah, so okay, so let's get into the starting 11 that you'd pick for the United team. So, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Right. So in goal, it's got to be De Gea, of course.
Yeah.
Uh, then for the centre backs, I would go for yeah, like I think the back four, it's like concrete. You can't change the back four right now.
I'd say Shaw could start today. Ten Hag very recently in an interview said that he was very impressed by Shaw's performance for England. Because
I
I'm not
think,
sure about
but but I
Malasia's aerial capabilities, especially against, Bernardo Silva and Haaland.
Yeah, but I would say if I would say last year he did really well against Mo Salah against Liverpool. So if he can do well against Mo Salah, I'm pretty sure he can do well against Silva.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
And I think it's a bit unfair to drop Malacia just because Shaw's been good for England because Malacia hasn't played for Netherlands that much. So that's a bit unfair in my opinion.
Even Malaysia has been solid for Netherlands. I mean,
Yeah, so like I would say, in my opinion, it's a bit unfair to drop Malacia, but let's see what he does. At right back, Gallo, of course. Man, the fall of Wan-Bissaka has been sad.
he was getting best right back in the world shorts a couple of seasons back.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember when he pocketed Mbappe during the old PSG thing?
I remember, and I remember when he was in his first season at United, he was probably like in February and March. In February, March, he was like he had locked the Player of the Year award on him. Like he was United's Player of the Year at that point. But then after lockdown, he dropped off. I don't know what happened to him.
I heard he
So
had drinking problems or something, personal issues.
yeah, he did have that. So maybe that could have played a role. So yeah, so I think this is one of the actually areas that is going to be interesting because I think the midfield is going to be very interesting because we need to win the midfield battle. If we can win the midfield battle against City, then uh, then automatically Haaland will have less chances. And in my opinion, this sounds a bit cliche, but if we can close down Haaland, I think we can win the game. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. Haaland is the main problem that we have to worry about.
Yeah, and if we can win the midfield battle, then hopefully we'll be able to do that. So, I mean, who would you pick? Because I'm not actually sure. McTominay or Casemiro?
McTominay, easily McTominay. See, the thing about McTominay is he's always been a big game player. He shines at derbies. His aggression is the main thing which helps him during derbies, especially. So
Remember
McTominay
that?
all the way.
Remember that goal he scored against Man City right before lockdown from like 40 hours out.
Exactly.
uh, Good times. And yeah, but I would say Casemiro's still he's still a good bench option as well. And I think that if McTominay's not having a good game, we could easily bring him on. And remember, Casemiro was part of that Real Madrid team who epically beat Man City in the Champions League just a few months ago. So that's something to consider as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so
Although he has
yeah,
been yet to find his form at United, Casemiro.
yeah. It's not really found his form yet, but hopefully they have to do so soon. So I think the two other midfielders, probably Eriksen and Bruno,
Yeah, Eriksen and Bruno. Yeah.
right? Uh, and like the rise of Eriksen's been incredible. I mean, like Denmark, I remember in the international break, they faced against, they played France, who are the current world champions, and he was man of the match against them. So it's been inspiring his comeback to the Premier League.
Yeah, he had a spectacular
Then
game.
Bruno there, yeah. Then front three. Now I think this is an interesting one as well. Would you start Ronaldo?
No, it kills me to say this, but if Martial is available, I'd start Martial over Ronaldo.
I mean, yeah, I get that because I think one of the main assets that are going to hurt Man City from us is pace. Because I think in the past as well, City have struggled to cope with players who have a lot of pace. And I think so. Oh wait, no. But this is a tough one actually. Um, Wait, so would you start Anthony or Sancho? I think that's one of the main things.
I'm quite a bit confused about this one as well, but I'd say Anthony because he he has this passion that I've not seen in Sancho till now. You know, that Arsenal game itself, he was impressive, and I'd say he fits the Martial and Rashford duo as well a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get that. I think Anthony, he's really fast as well. Like Sancho's not slow, but Anthony, he is rapid. And I think that can help us in this game. And I think, of course, you said about the passion thing, because I think the South American thing. I think South Americans are just really passionate about football. But yeah, and of course, Anthony, it's going to be his first Manchester derby. Of course, I think Ten Hag. I would say I don't want to say this, but I think Anthony is probably one of Ten Hag's favorites because like ever since we signed him, he started in every game. He's been available.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a really
So
good
yeah, I would
bond
say
when
I'm like
they
Ten
were
Hag's a big
Ajax.
fan.
So
Yeah. And so yeah, it is just starting 11 we would pick for trip to Etihad against Man City. De Gea, Martinez, Varane, Tilo Malacia, Eriksen, McTominay, Bruno, Rashford, Martial, and Anthony. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, really interesting, and I think that's, I mean, and I think the interesting thing about this game as well is that we have options off the bench. We have Alanga, we have Sancho or Anthony, we have Ronaldo, we have Casemiro. We have a lot of players who we can bring off the bench if things aren't going well for us. So I would say that's a pretty good thing for us. And yeah, so what are your score predictions for this game?
I'd say 3-2 United. I'm a bit optimistic, but 3-2 United.
Um, I would say I'll go for Yeah, I think you know what I will go for. Yeah, I think I'll also go for 3-2 United because I think that if we're gonna win, like I think no matter what, City are gonna score goals today because that's just how good Haaland is. But we're gonna have to score a lot of goals as well. And I think Man City's defense they haven't been bad this season, but I mean they conceded 3 goals to Newcastle, so I wouldn't say their defense is great this season. So I would say the area where we'll be able to win this game is if we can attack the defense properly.
Yeah, plus, as far as I know, Kanji might start today, and he's not City level, to be honest.
Yeah. Stones and Laporte are both injured, right?
Yeah, they're both still injured, and Diaz, though good, has been in terrible form for Portugal recently. So let's see what happens today.
So and Ake might start ahead of Akanji, but let's see. But I would say either way, I would say we can get at that defense. But I think and Cancelo as well. He's a really good player, but I think at times he can be a bit suspect defensively. And the same for I think Kyle Walker. I think he'll be a tough player to deal with because of his because like, he is one of the fastest players in the Premier League. He is. It's going to be tough to get past him. But I think hopefully as long as we can get past their fullbacks, I think we'll be able to score some goals. And I think that I would say I wouldn't expect either team to keep a clean sheet in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. This one is going to be a fun game for sure.
Yeah, and of course, I'm pretty sure Classico is going to happen as well soon. So 2 big games there. So yeah, oh yeah. Also, let's just quickly talk about last night's yesterday's Premier League results. First of all, wow, like what is going on with Liverpool? Because I mean, Trossard got a hat trick yesterday, and at Anfield for a player who's got a hat trick at Anfield, it's a huge deal. So yeah, I don't know what happened there to Liverpool.
The team looks a shadow of the team that they were last season. The players are in absolute shambles right now.
Yeah, and football's a funny game because like last season, I would say Liverpool fans were like, it's time for Firmino. I think it's time to move on. He's been a great player for us, but let's sell him in the summer. And this season, they will probably be in the relegation zone without Firmino.
I honestly don't get why Liverpool brought Nunez, right? I mean, Firmino's a pretty decent player. They've got Jota as well. They had Minamino as well, but I think they sold him off. But Nunez, he does not fit their system at all. Plus, I don't think he's that good to be playing in the Premier League.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that because even against us, our defense absolutely pocketed him. And I think Nunez, he doesn't really suit the Premier League because um, Liverpool. And what's interesting as well is that I think Mo Salah he's changed this season because I think last season he was because last season Liverpool's main output for goals were from Mane and Salah, but this season they wanted to only be Nunez, but Nunez isn't enough to be the only goal output. and Salah has turned into more of a creator. So I think that's might be one of the reasons why Salah has been worse this season than last season.
Yeah, absolutely. Mane's loss has been terrible for Liverpool.
And yeah, and I mean, and Trent as well. Like, what is going? I mean,
Let's not even talk about him. I do not know what is going on. I am probably one of the only United fans I know who actually likes Trent a fair bit. Because offensively, he offers a lot more than any right back in the Premier League probably does, except
I
maybe
mean, he's
Kane.
probably. I mean, offensively, he's probably better than some forwards in the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. But defensively, he's in absolute shambles right now.
And I remember against in the Champions League final, like he was literally social distancing from Vinicius Junior.
Even in the United versus Liverpool game, I do not know what's happening with him at all. But uh,
Yeah, and I think Trent, I think I respect Trent because I think he's probably symbolic of the modern right back. Getting forward, taking set
yeah,
pieces. He's symbolic of the modern right back. But at the same time, you can't forget about because like the thing is, and even I remember Malacia said this in an interview. He was asked what's more important, going forward or like the defensive side of the game, and he said that of course it's nice to go forward a lot, but your first job is to defend. That's why we call defenders, and that's the thing. To call Trent, he's a great player, but people are the name of his position is right back. A right back is a defender, and he is not a good defender. So that's just a bit of a pickle right there for Liverpool.
I am not going to lie. I'm enjoying this right now, because a few seasons back, I remember Liverpool fans were comparing Trent Alexander-Arnold to David
Today,
Beckham. So,
yeah, that's just ridiculous.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
even
ridiculous.
Robertson, I don't think he's been decent this season at all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, also, like, this is a fact right now. This is honestly a fact. Right now, as of right now, Rafael Varane is the better centre back than Virgil van Dijk.
Honestly, I'd say Maguire is a better defender than Van Dijk right now. Van Dijk has been terrible. He's not pressing at all. Pressing was one of the main reasons why Van Dijk was considered as one of the best defenders in the world. I do not know what's happening with Liverpool players, but whatever it is, they need to find a solution quickly.
And one of the, I think it might be Matip because I think Matip, like when Van Dijk was in his prime, he was playing with Matip a lot, but now he's playing more with Gomez and Konate.
Konate is actually class, to be honest. He was really impressive in the Champions League final, but Gomez, much rather not say anything about him.
I don't know, like wait, what is up with Liverpool and English players?
What has been up with Klopp? He keeps coming up with excuses after excuses, and it's honestly embarrassing at this point. Even Liverpool fans are calling him out.
Like the whole team's a shambles right now. Like even Jordan Henderson, their captain, and he's a good captain, but he's not been good this season.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So I think yeah. So we've talked about it. We've talked about stuff for a little while now. So I think this would be a good time to wrap things up. So yeah, match derby. It's actually kickoffs actually in around 4.5 hours. So of course I'll be doing a watch along for that game. I'll see if I can get someone else on. Maybe Niels will be available. I'm not sure, but yeah. So yeah. Anyways, guys, it's all for today's stream. If you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, turn on post notifications to be notified when we upload our next video. Thanks again, Roshan, for joining. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. And yeah, we'll see you guys later.